Let's get it, baby. Monday Super Bowl talk. You feel me?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Let's do it. We'll still have Undisputed every Monday. A lot of the times now will be about basketball. Obviously, since there's no really football. But there'll still be a lot of football videos. But let's see what they got to say, man. We'll watch them first take after this too. Sheesh, man. Sheesh, man.
Richard did not attend.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I can't imagine the energy at that. But I think the deciding factor was the punt. The muffed punt.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Ray didn't muff it.
I mean, yeah, it was huge. I mean, back-to-back Super Bowls are huge special teams play, man. Kadarius Toney, and now this.
In those plays, fans get so
I mean,
they're like, oh, you gotta be aware. It's like, no, he's not looking at the punt returner. He's looking at the guy he's blocking, trying to make sure he gets him. And, it's one of those, a mistake. But an honest mistake. And I think that was a turning point in the game because after that play, Kansas City hadn't scored. They had 6 points. They had 2 field goals. They had no offensive rhythm. Had just gotten stopped. Right here, for all intents and purposes, they were not, they didn't look like they were going to score before this half. And
Agreed.
Then that play happens. They get an immediate touchdown. They get momentum. They start to move. They start to believe. And that's when the game turned around for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that was a huge play in the game. Obviously, after that point, both teams played really well.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge. Special teams makes plays, man. They blocked the PAT, which would have been a completely different outcome. Last year, the Kadarius Toney punt return. Now this. Special teams doesn't get enough love, bro. It's a huge part of the game.
That game, I was like, oh, my God. This is about to be an annihilation. That's what it looked. It looked like the 49ers were the Chiefs weren't ready for it.
Agreed.
It looked like they were not ready. And that defensive line, it just swarmed. And the whole Kansas City Chiefs offense just disappeared every time. I was like, this is about to be over. Looked like early that game was going to be over.
Damn.
San Fran makes a few drives.
It wasn't. Not even close. Not with Patty.
No.
And
not with Patty.
The game.
Not with Patty.
Because you left.
You feel me?
Patrick Mahomes hanging around.
Sheesh.
You didn't put a dagger.
Sheesh.
And you wouldn't have knocked him out the first half, but you could have put some space in between.
Right. You could have
space in between. A lot of people are getting on the decision late to take the ball early. I thought
in overtime.
Yeah, I mean,
when that defense came back on.
It's hard to say, man, because it's the first time they had to deal with it. I thought it too. I think you should kick. I mean,
right back out there.
No.
It would have been nothing. It would have been nothing. So I don't agree with that. With Kyle Shanahan had to make a decision for his team. Because even they were exhausted in that last drive. So you know how exhausted they would have been. So I was okay with that. That missed extra point. That was.
It loomed large the whole game.
Right.
Yep.
That was unbelievable.
Because you knew now they got a field goal.
That was unbelievable.
So now they're playing. They got a tie.
Right.
And that puts him out. That was, oh my God, that right there.
Yep.
It goes back to what we talked about, guys. Honestly, last week, what makes Patrick Mahomes as great as he is he always makes the right decisions at the right time.
He's different.
We can break down what San Fran did do or what San Fran should have done.
He's a game manager, bro. He's a game manager. A game manager might be the best title, bro. It might be the best title to have for real.
Makes the right decision at the right time. And watching them play like
it's the best title to have for real, bro.
You really start saying, if he wins, what did that performance mean to me yesterday? If he wins another Super Bowl, then you start saying, I don't need to see him win 7.
Damn.
If he gets to 4, so he can at least clear Joe and Bradshaw.
Sheesh. Talk to him, Mike. He's entered that conversation, man. It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be close, man. I don't know.
Play that position in the way he has played.
I got Mahomes, obviously. A lot. Brady's still number one in my opinion.
Batman, Robin,
Even Mahomes always plays it humble. He beat him, and he did beat him.
But it is unstoppable.
It'll be tough. If you think about it, bro, if Mahomes won that Super Bowl and then won that AFC Championship game, they'd probably each be at 5 right now.
Before I respond to you saying if he gets to 5, it's over. Right?
Yeah, if he gets 5, it's over.
It's over.
If he gets to 4, we can have...
It depends on fashion, man, and the context.
Before it'd be over. But that's just me.
This one was ridiculous. This one was ridiculous. Last year was ridiculous. This year was ridiculous. These are probably 2 best back-to-back Super Bowls, bro.
Yes, okay.
All right. Back to both your points. Back to Richard's point. Again, you played for this team 4 years ago. You know Kyle.
Richard, it wasn't your fault, man. They lost what you and Crouch.
But I told, you weren't here on Friday, but I told Michael and Keyshawn, for me, I think I told you this earlier in the week, it's still boiling down to this. Am I picking 1-5 here? Am I picking Patrick Mahomes? Or am I taking Brock Purdy on the biggest stage in his second year of starting
all day long
as the final pick?
All day long.
On the biggest stage, am I going Andy Reid or Kyle? And I especially like him off. I think I like him off the field more than I like him on the field. But as far as big game coaching goes, I'm taking Andy Reid. And I got to tell you, there were a couple of wizard calls last night. The 4th and 1 in overtime, putting the ball in Patrick's hands on the sort of the Reid option.
Right.
It was sweet.
That was crazy.
The decision is what makes it sweet. Patrick says, if I get this, I'm going to hold on to this ball.
He did.
I'm not risking even throwing it, and I'm Patrick Mahomes. That's
okay. And I told you, in the end, the best receiver on the field, despite all those great weapons, and George Kittle's really good. He didn't have much of a game last night. They didn't feature him last night, or maybe he was taken away.
Did nothing.
But Travis Kelce, in part because of the woman that he now loves up in the box, he's going to rise and shine at some point in the game and take it over. And in the second half, he caught 8 balls for 92 yards. After in the first half, he caught 1 ball for 1 yard.
It's great that the guys don't want her in the stands,
and they broke loose. So give me Patrick, give me Andy, give me Travis. But to your points, you had this. You had it again and again and again and again. You had it coming out of halftime when you led 10-3. You were 10-0 until late in the half, and Mahomes finally snapped out of it enough to get 3. So it's 10-3. And the Chiefs have the ball because they deferred the opening kickoff. And right away, Patrick Mahomes looked completely discombobulated. He looked flustered. He looked befuddled, and he throws an interception.
I mean, that was a bad throw. That was a really bad throw.
I'm thinking, uh-oh.
I mean, Kelce was wide open. The fact that they didn't get any points, they got the ball at their 40, the Chiefs 40, on the other side of the field, the 49ers did with the pick, and they got no points out of that. That's when I was like, yo, this Chiefs defense is just like...
Whoa, now you've got the ball at their 44-yard line. If you take this home, it's 17-3, and it felt like they were capable of taking it home. Help me out. If it's 17-3, can Patrick come back on that? I don't know.
49ers also had some penalties.
Maybe, but I'm going to have my doubts at that point.
Right. What you were seeing anyway from that defense, we were seeing the domination of the defensive line on that offensive line.
Okay, so you have the ball there, and you go 3 and out. And you get the ball back again, and you go 3 and out. And you get the ball back again. We're all talking about the third quarter here. And you go 3 and out. And I'm saying, wait a second. On those 3 possessions, Brock Purdy throws it 7 times and goes 2 of 7 for -1 yards, okay? That won't work. Not in this game, not on this stage, not against that guy.
What did Patrick do? Because Patrick was getting stopped as well.
He was also getting stopped. I'll get to that. But he's not responding at all. He's not taking advantage at all.
Well, does a quarterback matter in that situation, or if they're both playing that way?
3 straight 3 and outs, and Christian McCaffrey, whom you love,
because I don't know, because I know Mahomes will get it done in the 4th, but I don't know if Purdy will. Although Purdy did, but
1 time in 3 series for 0 yards, but he just got 1 crack at it, and he caught 1 ball for 7 yards, but it was on a 3rd and forever, and it didn't matter. It didn't help. Okay, so Brock Purdy on those 3 series is 2 for 7 for -1. It's not good enough because they kept saying, here, Patrick, Here, Andy. How about you? Here, Travis. You want it? You want it? You want it? Yeah. Once again, San Francisco's defense rose up.
Our dynasty, man.
Straight 3 and outs, and they
Chiefs
said,
are a dynasty, man.
We got one last stand in us, and they're sweating, and it's getting scary out there. But they hang on, and they shut down Patrick Mahomes and make them punt. Right. And what happens? What you said happened. They punt it and they botch it. So you cannot give them. And they were so discombobulated after they muffed the punt. Again, the kid just kicked it. It hit his foot. And Ray tries to corral it. And he
Niners can't beat the Chiefs.
Can't get set.
Crazy. They can beat anyone else in the league.
Hits him right out of the box with a 16-yarder to MVS. And all of a sudden I look up and I'm thinking, wait a second. The Chiefs are ahead?
Right.
They're ahead 13-10. You had them. You had them.
Because
the
Chiefs defense kept them in the game.
Yeah. If we could see what
only took that.
Let's look at the block kick. Then you go 75 yards and 12, and I'm thinking Brock got it back. He got his rhythm back. And they go 75 yards and they score, and then the rookie kicker hits it a little low. It looked like the.
Didn't I say there would be one missed kick? I didn't think it'd be a block PAT though.
Yeah. And it gets blocked. And this is a huge play because it's a crusher. Because you don't put the exclamation point on the touchdown, and you know in your heart of hearts you're going to be chasing that point the rest of the game.
And that's what happened.
Right?
And that's what happened.
All right. And yet, and still, final drive in the fourth quarter for Kansas City. Down, it's the second to last drive. It's 6:35.
Back to back, man.
You can see this. You got one last hurrah, and it's 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line, and they stop Patrick Mahomes. Right. Patrick did not cash this play. He looks, he rolls, he bolts, he cuts up, he thinks maybe he can get it with his legs, and he can't get it. Well, I thought at that point they were going to lose because I thought Patrick from 3rd and goal on the 3, he's going to cash that. Well, he didn't cash that, and so you held him, and now it's 16-16. And then it comes down to you get 2 more cracks at it. Brock Purdy gets a 3rd and 5 at the 35 with 2 minutes left. 3rd and 5 at the 35.
I mean, he had 399 total yards with the rush yards.
Corner blitzer, I think, in the league. I've been watching all year long. Every time I look up, he comes off as hot as anybody comes off. He's got great timing. He's got great anticipation. And they didn't use it all game until this play. And he disguises, and kaboom, he bolts. And he blows up the play. Okay, that's your one play. If you can cash that, if you can go score, you're going to win the game. But that was your chance.
But I'll say this: in overtime, fourth quarter and overtime, Brock Purdy had 3 game to take the lead drives or to tie it. He responded every time. So you could sit here and tell me I would rather have Patrick Mahomes, but you are also sitting here telling me in the same situations you're saying Brock Purdy struggled, Patrick Mahomes struggled.
Okay, he did.
Play after play after play after drive after drive.
But the last 2 drives, Brock only got field goals when against that guy you needed a touchdown. Right.
In the last drive of the game, he needed a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, he got stopped, held to a field goal. So
that's a little different.
Again, it didn't come down to,
Brock
Purdy got tremendously outplayed.
And if he did that, oh my goodness, that would have been crazy. If it was that. And he had it. He had Rice. Could have hit Rice for the game winner. He really could have.
You just can't have the penalties that they consistently have. They were drive killers. There was multiple offsides, false starts that are just undisciplined plays.
Right. Brock Purdy served himself well in the game. He just didn't win the game, but he's still, but he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No
one is. And no one is. And Patrick Mahomes made sure he stood up and said that no one is with the way he played. That was a phenomenal game, the way he played. Now, Skip, and to the coaching, let me tell you the brilliance of Andy Reid. You were just talking about this 3rd and 3.
Dog.
That was, what quarter was that?
It was right at the end of the Patrick play. Well, that was 6 minutes left in regulation.
Right.
Yeah.
Andy was holding that last touchdown. He was holding. He didn't even use it there.
No.
Because he knew he was going to need that in overtime.
Yeah. It's the play they call corn dog. It's the reverse motion.
The one that we were talking about. See, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about right there. Now, any other coach pulls out whatever he has right there.
It's not going to work anymore. Now they got to draw something different.
So now when you have to come back to that play or come back and need that play during the game, you know what's coming. We've already seen it. And they held it, man. And then dropped that card on you at the right time. Bam! He just said,
for real.
Trump.
Right.
It's over.
He did, and
That's
it was a
brilliant
mismatch
coaching.
on that
That's
play.
brilliant
Right?
coaching. That's
Yes, it
brilliant
is.
coaching. That's
He is
brilliant
chess master at the highest
he's a
level.
master.
No question. That was a great call. That was a great call. It was a great understanding of the coverage, and it's still, I was talking to you. I don't understand why every team doesn't run that play, because when you get to that motion, every team has to run man coverage. When you're 5 and in, you don't have any other choice. Otherwise, you're going to get decimated. So when you start to
Nicole Hardman, man,
there's too many bodies in there in too close proximity.
And when he reverses, he gets a head start on you where it's not fair.
Right.
It's like
they got you either way.
Yeah.
that boy went from the Jets back to here.
Bless. All the way across
That's
the field.
crazy.
Hopefully you beat him to the corner, or you start to go that way and he went the other way.
That's
this
crazy.
was the Jerry Rice special. He did it again and again, and nobody could cover him. Dallas couldn't cover him. Right.
And he did. And but you, Sherm, you said something very interesting. Because when that receiver is coming down and you're flowing with him, at some point, if you want to kick them over, he's like, I got to wait till you get past the center. Right. Because he can go all the way over to the center and then come all the way back. Right. So, it's... Yeah,
if you lose him
difficult.
As a corner, if you lose him behind the offensive lineman, you have to assume where he's at. Because you can't sit there and see through the offensive line. You moving at full speed. You got to assume he's going the other way.
And that's what happened as the game went on. Kansas City just started hitting all the crossing routes, all kinds of crossers and everything. And once you started hitting those crossers and Travis Kelce got going, then things started changing real quick, and 1-5 just took over.
All right, and yet Brock Purdy got one more shot in overtime. It's 3rd and 4 at the 9. If you can cash one of these, you're going to win the football game. But you have to make a play. You have to block the right people, and they didn't.
Yeah, Jennings open. Jennings might have been the MVP. Then look up top. Look up top.
He obviously is responsible.
It's just a bust.
Brendan Ayuk is wide open.
You got nothing. You got no shot. It's just basically a throwaway so you don't take a sack. Right?
Yeah, that's just a bust by the right tackle. He misread the play because George Kittle was responsible for the end. He's responsible for Chris Jones standing right there in front of him. You bust on the best player they got.
Best player.
Defense.
Yeah.
And that's just a mistake.
And by the way, they blocked him.
But you can't have it here. There's a mistake that says, no, not here.
Not
That's
here.
why they lost.
This is the crucial part
of
this game. And now you lose that Super Bowl. We're talking about San Francisco. Look at it. These are all the little mistakes. The punt. You can't give. You
cannot. You can't miss. You can't hit the point block.
You can't miss that. You can't miss Chris Jones on the most crucial block. But again,
the first drive you fumble. You look great in that first drive.
Can't fumble.
And you
that's
fumble right there.
Arguably your best offensive.
I mean, they're lucky that Pacheco fumbled too, bro.
Can't do it. All right. So
Especially
if I sum this up and I look at the second half alone, just 3rd and 4th quarters, the offense goes 2 of 8 on 3rd down. It's not good enough against that guy. Maybe against somebody else, maybe against Neil O'Donnell when you guys played Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, you could get away with it, but not against this guy. And for the game, Brock Purdy's offense goes 3 of 12 on 3rd. It's on 3rd down. It's not good enough. You've got your chances. You've shown you can move the ball. You have some long drives. One ended in a fumble. One, you hit Juwan Jennings for a touchdown. You showed me, you can do that and you can do that. But when it's time to seize control, where you say where you're going to put the dagger in. You can't put the dagger in, and if you let him have a little bit of life and a little bit of life, a little bit of hope,
they gonna give up that
finally,
effort.
as Patrick said after the game, once that Chris Jones blows that play up, once you hold him to 3, Patrick said after the game, he said he and Kelsey were being interviewed, I think it was on ESPN, and they both said, hey, as soon as they go field goal, we knew in our hearts the game was over. And I believe they did think the game was over. And Patrick was extraordinary in that final drive because he made, again, we talked about the 4th and 1 play, if we could see that again.
Difference.
Yeah. And they had time they called a timeout before they called this 4th and 1.
That was a great play, man.
Ball game. And again, it's kind of a run-pass option where you can just keep it off the right side. And
great play. I mean, he had Rice wide open. I think that's Rice right there. You would have had Kelsey if Logan Ryan went. It was
because he knew the crucialness of it. He wasn't going to try to throw that ball any little sliver.
He was not.
He was going to take it.
And then on 3rd and 6 at the 46, he hits
Rashee
Rice on a
Rice,
crossing route, and it was a nice throw because they brought some pressure, and they got up in Patrick's face. And this is really, this is big time under pressure. There's some pressure in his face, and Rice gets loose, and then
I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I mean, it was an amazing throw to Rice on 3rd and 6. You got hit.
19. Although at first I thought this was a quarterback draw, but I don't think it was. I think he just bolted.
Yeah, he just scrambled.
Yeah, he just said, nope, I'm out of here. And that was a big play.
All right, man. I'm going to leave it off like that, man.
To that point, they don't have any momentum offensively. They have no.
Travis Kelce.
Damn!
You just lost the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right, I can't
Back
wait
to
see
back.
like this with Mike.